Hey, it's the Yogi Momo. I am super excited about today's 8th class of our gratitude series because the focus is yin. We're going to spend some time in what we call Sphinx pose as well as a few others, but we are still focused on opening up the heart, but we're going to do so in a little slower fashion than we've been doing the last few days. So the focus is yin. I'm going to tell you what that is if you're not sure. Grab your mat, grab a blanket or a towel, and meet me in just a moment. And lots of good things will be coming your way. So welcome to today. I am so excited. This is our first yin class since we began this gratitude series. And if you've never taken a yin class, the first thing I need to tell you is it's like nothing you've ever done. But it is exactly what your body needs. If you're familiar with the whole yin-yang circle of the black and the white, we tend to live, especially in America and in the West, a very yang kind of life. We are on the go, we are busy, we are pumped up, we are engaged, and we hardly ever stop to be still and quiet down, except for those times that we just collapse out of pure exhaustion. So yin does something very special. We're going to hold poses for just a bit. And during the time that we're holding these poses, we are going to dig into and really tap into our myofascial tissue, which is this beautiful spongy stuff around all of your joints. And when you think you've got hip problems or low back or shoulders or neck problems, what really, it's not about your muscles or your bones, it's about the fascia. When the fascia becomes tight and compacted and dehydrated, we tend to feel physical pain. And so we're going to spend some time really focused on tapping into and really bringing some health back to the fascia in your body. So what you need today, the only prop that you need is either a blanket, like the kind of blanket you'd have on your couch, or you need a bath towel. So if you want to stop the video real quickly, go grab you one of those, and I'm going to show you how to fold it so it will be your prop for our time together. All right, so I know your mom has taught you that there's a right way to fold a towel or a blanket, but our purposes today, you need to somehow fold it. So I've got my yoga blanket that I just folded in half, fold in half again, and then fold in half again. So do it your bath towel, whatever you've got, same way, so that you end up with this kind of long thing. And then what we're going to do is we're going to kind of just roll it up, and it's going to serve almost like a makeshift bolster. You've probably seen those pillows that we use in yoga, but we're going to make our own bolster right here. And so what we're going to do is I want you to take this and just put it toward the top of your mat. We don't need it just yet, but we will need it in just a few moments. So our focus today is yin. We're going to spend time, and so what I need you to do is when we get into the pose, it's going to get quiet. And all you're going to hear is the music, and every now and then I'll say a few things just to kind of bring you back and make sure your mind's not wandering. But we don't talk a lot in yin because what we need our body to do is to find its edge. When we get into each pose, we're asking our body to truly settle in, dig deep, get to about the point that we think, oh, it's no longer comfortable, but I'm not in pain. That's the edge, and that's where we hold. If your mind starts to wander, go back and focus on your breath. Listen to the sound of the music. Think about all the good things that you're doing for yourself and for your body. So our focus today again is yin. We're going to really spend some time using the pose of Sphinx to get us going, and it's going to be a beautiful time. So first off, I would like for you to come and just have a seat on your mat. Let's get our minds in the right space to be able to do this practice. Just place your hands on your knees. Just let your shoulders relax and close your eyes. I'm not going to ask you to worry about the kinds of breath. We're going to let the breath begin to come once we settle into the poses. Because the goal of yin is not that we get our body into the pose, but as we begin to release, that we get the pose into our body. We get all of the physical benefits, the mental, emotional benefits, and eventually the spiritual benefits of every pose that we do. So from where you are, just keep seated right where you are, eyes closed. Tell yourself, my mind is clear. My heart is open. I'm ready to focus on me. My mind is clear. My heart is open. I'm ready to focus on me. All right, so from where you are seated, I want you to bring the soles of your feet together as your eyes open. We're going to spend these first little bit of time right here in the seated butterfly. So your feet are together, and I want you to hang on to your toes. Don't worry about pushing your knees down. That's not the purpose of this. But we're going to bring our chest down and begin to round our back, because the pose that we're going to take in Sphinx in just a moment is going to do something very opposite of that. So we're going to make sure our spine, our low back, our upper back are feeling really nice and healthy by the time we're finished. So hang on to your toes. Just let the knees go out to the side. I want you to inhale here as you gently look up. And then as you exhale, I want you to bring the elbows close inside your belly, roll the head forward, and just hang out right here. We're not trying to bring the head down to the feet. We're just bowing into this pose, this butterfly position. Chin is tucked toward the chest. Feel the stretch down the back of your neck, and then close your eyes right here. I find that if you close your eyes, you don't worry about how far you're folding, if it's far enough, if it's hurting, if it's what, just close your eyes. Let the thinking stop. We're going to be here for a bit. Just think about the inhales and exhales and feel that incredible lengthening through the neck and through the spine, and let the music give you comfort in the quiet. You've made it past the halfway point. Just keep the head bowed. Eyes are still closed. Notice how maybe you're folding just a little bit more. Find the edge. Let your body tell you where it needs to go today. Even though our focus is getting the rounding in our spine, I know you're feeling a little bit in your hips and the inner thighs. That's totally fine. We've got about 10 more long, deep breaths. Keep breathing. Five more breaths. Two more. Inhale. Exhale, let it go. Slowly bring yourself up. Allow the head to come up nice and slowly. Bring the knees up, bring the feet back on the ground. Hands come right next to your hips. And let's switch our hips, or switch our knees from side to side. Oh, a little bit of therapy for those hips. I don't want you to think that yin is not valuable, that it's not part of your fitness regimen, that it's not something that's necessary, because you can only take your muscles and your skeletal system so far. If you don't take care of the spongy stuff around it, they eventually will hit a ceiling, and that's where injuries are caused, or that's where fatigue sets in. So yin is a beautiful way to complement the incredibly busy yang kind of life that we are leading. All right, here we go. We're ready to come onto our bellies. You've got that blanket or that towel rolled into a nice little makeshift bolster. I want you to come onto your belly. And whenever you get down, I want you to take this little thing that we've just created, put it right underneath your chest. So just kind of roll it up right here so that eventually we're going to put our elbows right here. And so our chest is resting right here on that little makeshift bolster. And now bring your elbows, put it right up against it. Your legs are long, so you're really making a 90-degree angle with your arms. So from the wrists to the elbows to the shoulders is probably going to be kind of a right angle. Fingers are spread wide. And I know you're probably already feeling it just a tiny bit in your low back as you look down at your hands. So we're going to have some different things we're going to do here in Sphinx. We're going to be here for a bit, but I'm going to give you some relief at different points in time, so don't worry. But I need for you just to let go and release and find your edge. So the first piece that we're going to try here in Sphinx is I want you to take your chin, lift it so that you're basically looking straight ahead. And I know that you noticed your low back felt it as you raised your chin. So if at any point you need to lower the chin, do that. But if you can, keep the chin parallel to the earth, right here. Close your eyes. Breathe. Craziness of life, constant barrage of a schedule that dictates our every move, creates tension in our physical, mental, spiritual body. So as we find our way into these yin poses, we're asking all that activity to stop. So your elbows are firmly rooted into the ground, your palms are pressing in, your chin is staying lifted ever so slightly, and your head doesn't feel any pressure. In fact, it probably feels a little bit of relief. Keep breathing. Remember, we're looking for our edge. We're not trying to find comfort. But we're also not trying to find pain. We're somewhere in the middle. Couple more breaths to settle in, to kind of get ourselves in position. And you can start to open your eyes because we're going to stay here, but we're going to intensify it just a bit. So the head's going to stay where it is, but I want you to think about the chest. Push it through so the shoulders go back a bit. Feel the chest pushing through. Stay right here. So your elbows are drawing into that blanket or that towel. Your chest is like I'm drawing it inside those shoulders, pulling it out. The shoulders are going back ever so slightly. You're not tipping your head back, your chin staying parallel. We'll hold this one just for 5 more breaths right here. I have students all the time joke and say there are these regular breaths or Kelly breaths. I'm going to tell you these are Kelly breaths. So we got 3 more. They're deep, they're complete. 1 more breath. Now don't move the arms, but just begin to let the shoulders roll slightly forward. Bow the head so your chin comes toward your chest, and you should feel relief immediately in your low back. So we haven't moved our arms. Our arms are still in Sphinx, but we're going to bow our chin toward our chest, give that back of your neck a chance to kind of restore right here. Because like I said, we're going to be here for a bit. Spending some time experimenting with Sphinx, slowing things down, really rooting into the power of that fascia. All right, start to lift your head back. Let's get ready for the second position here in Sphinx. So we're still here, right ankle being made with our hands. So our chin is parallel to the earth. Don't think so much about pushing the shoulders back and pushing the chest through this time. But instead what I want you to do is take your right heel, let it fall toward your bottom. So it's not going to touch, but you're looking straight ahead. Shoulders are away from yours. So if you feel like your shoulders are hunched, really draw them down. Feel the stretch. So the right heel's falling toward the bottom. We've got 10 breaths here. And you don't need to worry about counting. I gotcha. You just breathe, close your eyes, settle into the pose. Five more. Maybe the heel falls a little more toward the bottom. I know your low back feels it, but guys, you keep so much tension right there in the middle of your body. Keep breathing. 3 more. Inhale. Exhale, lower the right leg. Bow your head again. Whoo, relief in the low back. I know you feel it. Arms haven't moved. So those elbows are still touching that towel or that blanket. Palms are still down. I'm sure you can guess where we're headed next since we just did the right leg, but we're going to give ourselves a chance to kind of relax here. Let everything go. Because again, we're not trying to create pain, but oftentimes if yin is new for you, your body's telling you that it hurts or that you can't do it because you haven't ever tapped into that fascia before. Just allowed it to get tighter and tighter and tighter and try to find flexibility in the midst of it, and oftentimes it's almost impossible. So start to lift the head again. So chin is parallel to the earth, our arms are still in a right angle. Here we go. Take the left heel, bring it toward your bottom. Just let it fall. And again, you're not trying to touch your bottom. You're just trying to feel that stretch extending down through the left hip, through the quad muscles and the thigh, maybe even a little bit in the knee. You've got fascia in your knee. So that's why Sphinx is so amazing. It taps into fascia in so many different joints of our body. So here we are. Close your eyes. You guessed it. 10 long, complete breaths. Settle in. Five more breaths. Try to let the heel go a little closer toward the bottom. Check your chin. Make sure it's still parallel. Make sure your shoulders haven't hunched up toward your ears. If they have, lengthen the neck. 4 breaths. Two more. Inhale. Exhale, release the left leg, bow the head. I'm actually going to give your arms a break. Let them go. So your chest is actually going to kind of fall onto that bolster. Make a little pillow with your hands and let your forehead come to rest. So the chest is lifted just a bit because it's on that folded towel or that folded blanket. But you should feel immediate relief in the low back, in the back of your neck, and a little bit of relief even in the arms. So as you lie there and breathe, let me remind you, the focus of yin is not to get our body into this pose, is to get the pose into our body. And that comes when we truly release. We're not trying to engage a muscle. We're not trying to stand and ground down. What we're trying to do is allow the pose to come into our body, and then our body will allow it. But sometimes the body and the mind are not always in sync with one another. So that's why yoga is so amazing. It's mind, body, spirit connection. And as your mind is asking your body to let the pose come in, your body begins to cooperate. 2 more breaths right there. Let's bring ourselves back up. Position your hands again. Push those elbows into that blanket or into that towel. Make the right angle. Fingers spread wide. This time take the chin parallel to the earth. And we're going to work on the neck. So I know your low back, already felt it as soon as you got into the pose. But let the right ear fall toward the right shoulder. Again, we're not touching the right shoulder. Just let it fall so you can feel the stretch in the left side of your neck. Breathe. We won't stay here as long. We've got 5 breaths with the right ear going down to the right shoulder. Close your eyes. 3 more breaths. Inhale, bring the head back up. Exhale, ear goes to the left. So left ear, left shoulder, close the eyes. I know your low back is feeling it. I know your chest is feeling it. That's a good thing. We've got to let our body know that sometimes it's okay to feel things that are a little unfamiliar. Because the more times we show up on our mat, the more familiar it becomes. You've just got 5 more breaths to go. Left ear to left shoulder. And 3. Inhale, lift the head. Hold here, 5 more breaths. Chin's parallel, head straight up. Think about the chest. Push it through the shoulders just like we did in the very beginning. Shoulders draw back ever so slightly. 3 more breaths here. You've got this. And release. We're going to give ourselves a little restoration here. So I want you to take your hands, pull yourself up so that you're on your shins. So just have a seat here. Take that blanket or that towel that you're using, unfold it so it's actually going to make a little bit of a cushion for us for our knees. We're going to come into child's pose as our counter pose for all that work in Sphinx. This should really feel nice in your low back. So your knees are on that blanket or on that towel. Spread them wide. That's going to give you a little cushion. Take the hands down, and then for this child's pose, I want you to bring your hands and make a pillow. So take one hand, the other hand stacks on top. Bring the forehead to those hands. And allow your hips just to kind of lift off your heels. So you're not really sitting back on your heels anymore. Oh, this should feel really nice on your low back. It's a beautiful counter pose to everything that we've just been doing in Sphinx. Sphinx is really and truly one of those high leverage postures in yin. Keep breathing and just listen. We get into Sphinx to allow our chest to open up, to tap into our heart energy. But what you notice is that you find the stretch and the fascia around your neck, your shoulders, your back, even a little bit in your knees, maybe even in your hips. It is a beautiful posture, and you don't need me to be on the mat with you for you to remember it. It's something you could do. Spend 5 minutes every now and then. Come into Sphinx. Find the amazing relief that it brings to your body. 2 more breaths right here in child's pose. Start to bring yourself up. We're going to come back to how we began. So you can scooch that blanket out of the way. Bring yourself back in that seated position. soles of the feet together. This is just how we started. Hang on to those toes. We're gonna round the back again. So inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, chin folds forward, elbows tuck in by the belly, bowing the head, rounding the back. Stay here and breathe. Close your eyes. We're gonna be here in this folded butterfly for about 10 more breaths as we close out our time together. Five more breaths. Inhale, bring yourself up. Let's bring the knees up, hands next to the hips again. Swish those knees side to side. And then just cross your legs and bring your hands to your knees and close your eyes. Let's go back to those things we said in the very beginning. My mind is clear and my heart is open. My mind is clear. My heart is open. And my desire is to take those two things off my mat and into my world. Keeping my mind clear, keeping my heart open. Thank you for trusting me with your practice. Thank you for taking a risk and learning something new for many of you. And thank you for investing in your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual selves. It's going to make your world better and, in turn, my world better as well. Hands come together. Bow with me. Namaste. Love and light go with you as you leave.